Hey everyone, it's Lisa. In my last video I showed you this adorable little stitch kit that I made using my Cricut Explorer and the Cricut Design Space. This was one of their Make It Now projects. In today's video I'd like to show you how you can make that project if you do not have an Explorer or you don't want to use your Cricut Explorer. And the stitch kit that I will be making is a smaller version of that kit, but you can make this kit any size that you want it to. So our kit today is a cute little 3x3 box, and we have in here a little bit of floss and some stitch cards that I will show you later how I did that. So first we're going to start with the box itself, and I'm going to put this stuff aside. So I have here a piece of 2 7/8 square acetate. This is 5 1/16 a sheet of designer series paper, and this is from the Painted Blooms paper. Our cardstock is cut at 5 by 5 inches. So it's a square. We're doing a square box. You could do a rectangle box, or like I said, any size that you want. And this is a piece of crushed curry. So as you can see, I've already gone ahead and used my Circles Collection die, Thinlit dies, to cut a hole in here. I used this one, which is the 4th to last smallest piece, or you can count 1, 2, 3, 4. You could also use this circle here, which would fit well, but I wanted more of my designer series paper to show, so I used the smaller circle. And then I've gone ahead and I've scored both sheets at 1 inch all the way around. So I'm going to take, oh, and before I do that, and then my designer series paper, I took my scallop punch. The center, you want to center it at the best you can and punch it. And I did that on all 4 sides. So now I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm just going to cut a So I'm going to go ahead and score on my sides using my bone folder to burnish that down so I have a nice crisp crease there. And if you're able to see an additional score line on this piece, I don't know if you can or not, that was an accident, so we'll just ignore that. I'm going to do the same thing here. I might just go ahead and score first. I got them all. Yep, okay. I'll take my snips and just cut up to that score line right there. Okay. And now I am going to take, for this video, I'm going to use the fuse, which is pretty strong, or you can use, and I would highly recommend actually that you use the red sticky tape when you're doing boxes or gift bags. But I'm liking this fuse as well. But it is stronger than our regular snail adhesive, and I got a little blob right there. I don't want that. So I'm just going to pull this down, and with this you just kind of want to cut that off, which usually works when I'm not on camera. So I'm just kind of flicking it to the side to kind of cut it. Otherwise it doesn't want to release. I'm dragging it down and kind of flicking it sideways. Hopefully that is clear as mud, right? And okay. Now I want to line up my sides, and generally I like to try to line up my box edge because you can always fix your score line. But I didn't get this one lined up well. Oh well. Not going to worry about it right now, but as a little tip, line up your sides and your top. Sides and your top, so things aren't looking all wonky up there. Of course, if you use fuse, there's no readjusting. Okay, and then I can always take my bone folder and just kind of rub it around to make sure I still have a nice crisp crease and everything is, you know, sitting flat and level. Okay, now that it's all scored, I'm going to show you on this lid. I don't know how well you can see it. Tighter. But you can see some of the Designer Series paper peeking beyond the scallops. Now, if you didn't want that, what you could do is get yourself a pencil. Now, let me go out a bit. I don't want to be that close. Get yourself a pencil. Line your tabs up before putting your sticky tape on there and trace that and then trim it off. But I'm not going to do it on this video because I want it to go a little quicker than that. So I'm going to take my acetate and add some sticky tape to it. And normally if I was going to pass this on to someone, I would do the sticky tape on all 4 sides, but I'm just going to do 2 sides for now. Put my little cover back on there. I'm just going to add that to my lid, centering it. Rub that down. And this is a point where if you see a lot of junk on your acetate, you might want to get a little paper towel or cloth and some, I just use alcohol to try to clean that up because you want it to look neat. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, I'm back. Note to self, in my effort to clean this acetate up because I saw some things on it I didn't like, I ended up messing up the pattern on my design with the alcohol. So if you're just using a piece of acetate and you don't have that design, this is from Quarter Fancy, something we no longer sell, but I liked the way it looked. If you have a etched design on there, you want to be careful. Test the alcohol in a inconspicuous part of your acetate before you go ahead and clean it. So this is my 3rd try at this video, so I am not going to redo this. I'm going to go ahead and finish this project for you, or try to. Okay. And now I am just going to go ahead and line up my sides and my top part of my lid. And again, I like to try to line up my top edge of my lid just in case I didn't get my scoring right, which looks like, or yeah, it looks like I didn't get it perfect on this part. So I'm just going to make a little slit right here. So many things going wrong with this project today. Just like that. Oh my goodness. And I'm just cutting a little wedge out of that corner. And if you need to do more than what I just did, you know, go ahead. But hopefully, when you do your project, you'll be more accurate. And then that one lined up perfectly. So what I'm going to do now to make sure that everything is level again, and I have a nice clean, crisp box lid. Creases. Everything is flat, not wonky. I just run my bone folder along the edge, keeping it flat against my mat here. Okay, and that should fit on there perfectly. Wow. Didn't have that much trouble with the last one, but I didn't do that one on video either. Again, I'll show you this one that I did earlier. And as you can see, that one goes on much easier. I use the same technique I just showed you. I'm going to put that aside now, and I'm going to show you how I made my own little stitch cards using some of our piercing packs. We have, you know, I have to check my catalog to see which ones are still available actually, but I am going to use, I think I'll use the butterfly again. This is the Occasions paper piercing pack. I need my piercing tool. You could also do your own design, just draw yourself a design on there, on the cardstock. I have a blank one here that I have not put a design in. Get my stamping pad. You want to make sure that you do not let anything move once you get started. Let me get my piercing tool, and I will probably speed this part up so you don't have to watch me go through all this. And there are my holes for my little stitch card. So I'm going to go ahead and put cover back on this. It's very sharp. So then I would take my little kit, put on my little stitching cards in it. You can make as many as you want. I have 4 here. Throw a little bit of floss in there. Get a child safe needle, throw that in there. Put your lid on. And then decorate your box the way you want to. You could do, this box is not liking me today. You could do what I did for this one and make yourself a little tag. For this box, I used the Simply Sheriff alphabet set, and I just, you know, stamped it a little wonky, and so I wouldn't have to worry about it being straight, because I couldn't get it straight. If my life depended on it, I could use my Stampin' Majig and do that. I added a few little X's by hand, or freehand is what I mean. And then these little stitches I doodled on there freehand as well. You could put, you know, make yourself some little roses to put on there, butterflies. There's just so many things you could do with these little boxes. Again, I will show you the larger one that I made with my machine. Now again, like I said, you can do these in any size that you want. I ended up doing this size because I needed to be able to put this piece onto my big shot. If you have a larger manual die cutting machine, you could definitely go larger than the 3x3. So the next part of this video, I am going to show you a simple way to figure out your score lines and your the size paper you will need for the box that you determine you want to do. Okay, I'm going to try to show you this and hopefully I won't be confusing. Let's say that I have decided that I want a 4 by 4 inch square box. So this represents my finished box. And then I decide that I want an 1 inch depth to my box. So this 1 inch represents my depth. So what I have to do to determine this size sheet of paper that I need, I will need to add 1 plus 1. Whatever that depth is, if it's 1.5 plus 1.5, you want a 2 inch or 3 inch, whatever, you have to do it twice. And then you're going to add that, and it's very simple, you're going to add that. In this case we only need to add once because this is a square box. So I would add that 2 to my 4 inches. And this gives me the size sheet of paper that I need. Because this is square, I need a 6 inch square sheet of paper. So 6 by 6. This will apply even if you are using a rectangular measurement. Say you wanted this to be a 3 by 4 box. You're still going to add that 2 inches. In that case, you would have to add the 2 to your 3. And I don't want to get too sidetracked and too confusing. Make sure you can see that. Which would give you... here, let me do this real quick. Just so you can see what I mean before I go on. So let's say I wanted that to be 3 inches by 4. Yeah, here, let me... Ooh, I don't know, did that help? I can't really tell. I would simply add that 2 inches to this measurement as well as this measurement, which would tell me that I needed a 5 by 6 inch sheet of paper. Okay, so back to our square box. So now that I know I need a 6 inch square sheet of paper, I'm just going to score that paper, score at 1 inches on all 4 sides because I decided I wanted a 1 inch depth. Excuse my writing, it's not great. So for my lid, I'm simply going to add a 1/16 of an inch. That's all. So whatever my size of my paper is. So for my box, I've got here, let me write this over here. So my box is 6 by 6 is the sheet of paper that I need. And it's scored at 1 inches. For my lid, I simply need to add a 1/16 of an inch. So it's going to be 1/16. I'm sorry, 6 1/16 by 6 1/16 inch equals the sheet of the size that I need of that sheet of paper. And again, I am going to score at 1 inch on all 4 sides. So this applies to whatever your numbers are. So going back to our rectangle here, so I simply need, if my sheet of paper that I need for my box is 5 inches by 6 inches, I just add a 1/16. So now I need 5 and 1/16 by 6 and 1/16. Oops, I'm not writing. Oh yes I did. Okay. This equals the sheet of paper I need for my lid. Okay, so I hope that was helpful.